All right, my name is Dr. Marc Gulitz. I'm a chiropractor and owner of MidAtlantic Spinal Rehab and Chiropractic. I have 8 locations in Metro Baltimore with some pending locations outside of Metro Baltimore. So I've been a Growth Solutions client for, I don't even know, I would say 5 or 6 years, give or take. And like most business owners, when you spend the money and you join an organization like this to help you, though I've been a member for about 6 years, I've probably only taken good focused action and advice for about 3. But that said, those 3 years worth of advice that I took and acted upon has dramatically changed my business for the better. The first thing that comes to mind is last year I made 2 major acquisitions to my company. I bought 2 individual offices through David Kelly and his team's help. And the value of having done that, of course, was increased revenue and increased profits. But in this Corona economy, as we'll call it, I think the value is so valuable because had I not done this, had I not continued to grow when others said I was big enough or I should be satisfied with what I had, I probably would be in a world of hurt right now. So it's one of those things where this idea of when is enough enough? Is your business growing fast enough? A lot of people sort of say, I've got enough, I'm good, I can take care of my family, I can pay my mortgage. David helped me realize early on, I'm sort of wired this way, that enough isn't enough, that you must continue to grow because you don't know what challenges lie ahead. And I'm really glad that I listened to that advice and I took it and executed on it, because we would be likely in a world of hurt right now had I not done that. And not a day goes by that I don't think about that. And as often as I can, thank David and his team for helping me with that. So specifically regarding the coronavirus emergency, one of the first things that Growth Solutions did that I found really valuable and helpful was give us access to webinars and lecture series on upcoming government funding for small businesses such as ourselves. You know, like we as a team, those people who get services from Growth Solutions learned about the PPP loans and learned about the EIDL loans long before the general public. And as a result, we had our financials lined up, got our applications in, and we were amongst the first to be lent to. So as much as there's a crisis and it's every bit affecting our business, we're probably down 50% in terms of new clients year over year. You know, it's less panicking for us and it's less worrisome for us because we anticipated that it would happen, and we helped lined up funding to help get through the nightmare that was to come. The other thing that David really helped us figure out was, in the best of times, what was our cash flow in and what was our cash flow out? And now with projections for decreasing revenue, what do we need to do to still remain profitable month over month, clinic over clinic, to get through this mess? And he's helped us identify which locations were underperforming and should therefore shutter temporarily, which employees might not have been producing the best and therefore could and should get laid off. I didn't really ever laid off an employee. It was a very difficult conversation. David walked me through how to approach it as best as I can. And ultimately, I think as best as we could, we did really well given the economic uncertainty. And now as things start to pick up again, as Governor Hogan allows us to enter stage 2 and people start to go back to work and drive more, we're having other tough discussions like which clinics should reopen, how soon, who should we rehire, when should we rehire them? And ultimately, I'm capable of making these decisions, but I much prefer bouncing them off a round table of other business leaders who've been there before, who can help us understand, what really needs to happen to continue to fix and improve our business moving forward. So as far as what I'm focused on now, and it's an odd answer, but I'm focused on the things now that I was focused on before coronavirus, which is to say, though there are emergent needs for cash flow and people, the things that made us successful before Corona are the things that are going to get us successfully through Corona and afterwards. So focusing on sales and marketing, meeting with my teams, recruiting and interviewing both professionals and non-professionals within my business, marketers, chiropractors, chiropractic assistants, admin staff, developing my existing managers and leaders. Like, one of the best things that happened during Corona economy for me has been the advent of Zoom technology and Microsoft Teams. I would routinely tell David that I didn't have a great solution prior to Corona for communicating with my people quickly and effectively, because emails only get so far and texts only get so far. but through training from Beth and the Growth Solutions team, it's really helped us understand how we can leverage the technology already within our phones and on our cameras and our computers, how to best communicate effectively, no matter where you are in Baltimore or for that matter across the world. And for me, this speaks to me particularly, the continued focus on mergers and acquisitions. One of the first things David and I had a conversation about, because I'm particularly interested in growing my brand, is the fact that as a result of this economic downturn, plenty of opportunities will start to show themselves for continued business growth, as some companies, perhaps those who have not hired Growth Solutions, basically will run out of money or will be undercapitalized and will be looking to sell or merge their business. And so as we're sort of approaching the third month of this, we are starting to see that. I'm having probably 4 or 5 conversations right now with competitor chiro clinics that otherwise weren't that interested in joining my team, and now we're having very productive conversations, largely because we were in a position to weather the storm, and David and his team have been working with me in my mindset on continuing to look for these opportunities, even in light of uncertainty. And so on one hand, of course, it's scary, right? There's no guarantees. Some of these deals could go bad, but what if they go right? Could this be a real inflection point for my company and I to really grow and take it to the next level? And I think David's continued training, both in sales and in mergers and acquisitions, has continued to help me understand that regardless of the economy around me, there are opportunities, and you can either bury your head in the sand or you can continue to look for them and continue to move forward. So my office and my team, we pretty much rely on all the main players within Growth Solutions. Beth has helped us out with a lot of technology within Growth Solutions, the Zoom meetings and stuff. David has helped my sales team. David has helped my billers, and Barbara has helped my outside marketers learn to overcome objections when they continue to market. And one of the most important things we're learning now is how to use and leverage technology when lawyers that we market to and doctors that we market to don't really let us in their office right now. They're not taking visitors. Well, those visits are the lifeblood of how we generate referrals and revenue in our company. So working with Barbara and her team on how to set those meetings, how to set those Zoom calls, how to use other apps like Calendly, etc., that's been really valuable to my team during this time. And a lot of that technology will I expect to spill over after this coronavirus thing passes us. What would be different without Growth Solutions support is I think I would be like every other business owner, which I perceive to be either not understanding the current state of the economy or unwilling to grow in spite of uncertainty. And so, I have a lot of friends who are small business owners in this market, and some are Growth Solutions team members and some aren't. And ultimately, what I find is that the people who do take the time and money and resources to hire David and his team and to invest in their knowledge and their education on how to run a successful business, generally speaking, are more successful than those who don't have the money. So it's this fundamental mindset problem where people think that perhaps it's too expensive or they can't afford it. But my mind says, well, what are you losing by not doing it? You're missing revenue opportunities. You're missing mergers and acquisition opportunities. And so, and listen, I totally understand in the beginning, I was paying the bill and showing up and not taking action, but by actually listening, by actually executing and changing my mindset on what I could do and what I needed to do, it's changed my life and my business for the better. So as far as the next step for us, most important thing for us is figuring out how to get out of this Corona economy, how to get business back to where it was in 2019, which was our best year ever. So just continuing to do more of the same things, continuing to look for mergers and acquisition opportunities, continuing to recruit people to work for me as people inevitably quit or get fired if they're not performing correctly, and just continuing to look for more opportunities for growth. And I think the main mindset that separates Growth Solutions team people versus people who choose to just do it on their own or who are satisfied with their level of growth is that ultimately we're looking for growth opportunities, and when you look for them, you will find them. David is a big proponent of this idea of find a way to a yes, and I agree with that. Not every deal is going to be exactly every element how you want it, but if you can find a way to that handshake, if you can find a way to that yes, there's tremendous opportunity and upside ahead. Let's see. So our results during the Corona economy are poor compared to the pre-Corona economy, but fantastic compared with the bankruptcy economy or the going out of business economy. That is, by cutting our expenses and increasing our revenue where we can, we've actually remained profitable across all of our businesses throughout the coronavirus economy. Now, not as profitable as we were before, but by cutting expenses, renegotiating with vendors, and renegotiating on rent and health insurance and all that stuff, we've been able to still show profitability to help us fund future growth. And that's been especially important because now as we exit the Corona situation, that extra cash flow that we've been able to develop and the extra cash we've been able to hold on to has really helped us accelerate out of it so that we can grow beyond it.